Immediately following the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag, if we can stand for a moment of silence to honor those serving in our armed forces, both here and overseas, and for those who made the ultimate sacrifice in their loss of life defending our freedoms. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. The chair will entertain a motion to approve the board meeting minutes dated December 3rd, 2012. Is there a motion to approve?
I move we accept them.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? No discussion, we can proceed to vote.
Elmer?
Yes.
Pat?
Yes.
Bob?
Yes.
Ted?
Okay, we can now open up for public commentary. Is there anybody that would like to make?
Yeah, my name is Steve Crowley, resident of Beecher, live at 625 Orchard Lane. I'd like to start off by saying, I'd like to begin this evening's commentary by informing you that the commentary directed is aimed directly at the Road District Highway Commissioner only. I'd also like to point out that I'm having this meeting recorded in addition to the normal recording procedure. I'm having this recorded independently. Since I've begun addressing some issues with the Highway Commissioner, there's been some problems with the recording equipment not working on a consistent basis. Mr. Meyer, do you realize you are in violation of state law by storing equipment and machinery outside? I'm speaking about items that are in the rear portion of the township building. You have a duty to keep those items under shelter. Are you aware of that?
Yes.
Do you understand you are required to have a list of your employee benefits on file with the clerk? There's another instance of you are not compliant with state law and you blatantly disregard state policy. I'd like to move to your report that you submitted in December 2012. In this report, you stated that the police report came back against the Road District employee. You also stated that nothing was found on the phone. I'd like to ask you how you obtained this information from the police. Did you have a police report? Was it a phone call? Where did you get this information and from whom?
From the police chief.
From the police chief. Care to entertain me and tell me, was it a tangible report that you held in your hand?
He said that there was nothing,
Would you speak more clearly, please?
no crime was committed, and there was nothing further on it.
Did you have a police report in
No.
your hand?
No, sir, I didn't.
No, you did not. So you spoke to the police chief directly in a private conversation about a matter that was not closed. Is that what you're telling me?
They told me that it was closed.
Okay, well, I have a rebuttal to that, because when I asked to get the information that you were so conveniently access to, I was told the Village of Beecher, by and through the police department, is actively investigating the reference case number, and the investigation is ongoing. And as such, the Village of Beecher is denying the request for records. As disclosure would interfere with reasonably contemplated law enforcement proceedings and would obstruct an ongoing criminal investigation being conducted by the Village of Beecher Police Department. That does not sound to me like that's a close case, sir. In addition to that, you wrote that nothing was on the phone. I have proof the phone was used to contact my child in excess of 30 times. And you have enough nerve to say nothing was found on the phone. I think that your willingness to prepare a written report concerning this matter and your willingness to provide false information to the taxpayers of Washington Township clearly indicates that you have abused your office and violated the trust that the taxpayers of Washington Township have placed upon you. You not only created the illusion of innocence to protect your employee, you also used your government elected position to advance this idea as truth by submitting it in a written report on township letterhead. You distributed these lies to the trustees and expected them to accept this as truth. It's my opinion you have violated the trust of the taxpayers and of your colleagues. You also wrote in your December 2012 report that the phone policy has changed. That report was dated December 3rd, 2012. I have a FOIA response dated December 13th, 2012, that said I have spoken to the Highway Commissioner and the relating to personal use of highway property, including communication devices, computers, vehicles, or machinery.
Mr. Clerk, was that FOIA for written policy?
It just said policy, I
Would you
believe.
lie and say you changed why would you lie and say you changed policy, when in fact you never implemented the policy at all? The FOIA response clearly indicates your willingness to defraud your elected position. I've given you several examples of how you are derelict in your duties as the highway commissioner. And that is without the mention of large sums of money that were lost in damages against the highway department through litigation. Yet you still find time to pretend to be a sort of spokesman for law enforcement. Your complacency is not welcome. Your violation of the taxpayers' trust is not welcome. I'd like it on record that this case is not closed. Beecher Police Department is currently investigating your highway department employee. The documents that I intend to submit here will provide the evidence that is needed to substantiate my claims. Thank you, Mr. Chairman, for the opportunity to speak. I'd like to have this place as a matter of record in the minutes.
Is that what you read, Steve?
Pardon me?
Is this what you read?
No, that's not what I read, but I can give you.
Can I have a copy of that, if you don't mind?
I will. I can't do it today, but I will get it to you.
That's fine.
Thank you for your time.
Is there any other public commentary? George?
George Schumer, 211 Orchard Lane. I'd like to know when we can put an end to the political campaigning at these meetings. It's getting to be every meeting now, we're getting a diatribe of accusations and innuendos more suited for political campaigning than the business at hand here.
I'd like to know if you have a daughter.
Let me respond to that. Hey, George, the public commentary, we can't censor public commentary. I mean, as long as nobody's verbally abusive,
If all the candidates want to come in here and make political speeches, they're welcome to do so.
yes, absolutely.
Okay, that's all I want to know,
That's-
because I don't think
yeah.
that's the business that is being conducted here.
It wouldn't,
Okay?
yeah,
And in response to the gentleman's question, yes, I do. And I certainly wouldn't come to a meeting and make it a public knowledge to every person in this city whose daughter was harassed.
I'm not making that on every daughter. It's about my own.
Thanks, George. Is there any other public commentary? Okay, again, our policy of public commentary is such that we allow individuals to come in as long as they're not verbally abusive or anything. It's appropriate. It doesn't, get way off course. But at the same time, it's again, George, I have people running against me for elected office. If they want to come in and talk, they're welcome to come in and talk. We're not,
One thing is to talk, but another thing is
Yeah.
campaigning.
well,
Big difference.
anyway, but again, and now that you brought that up, maybe Mr. Crowley and Mr. Meyer could get together and discuss this, or whatever. And I know there's another faction, there's an investigation ongoing. If they can do that outside of that, that's fine. I would suggest that maybe that's something to look at, so,
Mr. Chair?
yeah.
To this day, Mr. Crowley has never called me or contacted me.
Nor have you. Nor have you.
I would
You
be
can
more
say
than-
that I
I
have, but
would-
you haven't contacted me
Okay,
either.
but anyway, a suggestion, so.
I'd be more than happy to meet you in my office.
I never had an opportunity or an invitation.
Okay. Any other public commentary? No? Okay. All right, we can move on to reports. Road Commissioner?
We had 3 assaulting events so far this year, one on New Year's Eve that hit half our township, the other half is dry. Working on equipment in the shop, doing yearly maintenance, coal patching's ongoing, and we've been getting an onslaught of garbage and stuff on the roadways, people are dumping. It's just not tires, it's just garbage. TVs seem to be the hot thing right now, but.
It's a good time to say they could drop them off here.
They're dropping TVs off in the ditches?
Oh, yeah.
Everywhere.
Why, they can drop them off up here?
Oh,
That's where they end up, but.
Okay. Any questions for the Highway Commissioner? We can move on to Assessor. Did she leave anything?
No, nothing for me.
Okay, next item is Clerk's report.
Budgets are filed. And, I'm sorry, levies are.
I was gonna say,
Yeah. Better not be budgets, right? Levies are filed. And I've sent information to Kevin Ritter from Integris regarding the question on the ballot, and either Bob and I, or me and two other trustees, as long as we don't have a quorum for a meeting, he would like to meet with us and discuss the next steps. So whoever's available.
I know I didn't catch that. What was that?
It's Kevin Ritter, it's
Yeah.
for the trustees. It's regarding the question on the ballot about energy
Oh,
for the township. He wants to meet with me, Bob, and another trustee, if that's
what
possible.
was the name of that company again? Like,
Integris,
Where is
with a
it?
Y.
I think the city of Chicago just signed them up.
They did.
And what was our rate on that one? Do you?
I don't know, Jerry. I don't think the rates were actually, the rates
Oh, okay.
have not been,
They won't be locked in until we lock in.
yeah, they're not, haven't been
When do
quoted
you
yet.
want to meet, Joe?
He was looking at either next Monday or the following Monday, but I can get back to him. I'll send you guys an email and ask when you're available, and we'll try to get something set up so we can all meet and get it done. He's only got so much time before he can get this thing submitted to the county, so he's gotta get a rush on it if he wants it on the ballot.
We need a quorum.
No, we don't want a quorum. It's just basically just to sit down and talk about what's the next steps are.
So it can be supervisor, trustee, or two trustees.
Yeah.
Whoever's available, I think, at that time.
Right.
And Joe's, he can attend.
Yeah.
Because he's non-voting, so he wouldn't constitute a quorum. Okay, anything else? Any
Nope,
questions
that's
for the clerk? Washington Township Planning Commission? Mr. Snoodle?
I think you have
Yeah, in the back of one of our, yeah,
Okay. So our
it was on the back of it.
similar, we were asked to, we got a recommendation for the Lillian Expressway, and the planning commission did meet, Kenny at several occasions over the last month, 2 months. And basically, we took the same stance as we did about a year ago with the airport issue. Basically, we strongly feel and advise to the township board that the best way for our community to maintain the character and the way of life that we have here is to be part of a planning process. And we feel that updating our comprehensive plan, which was last done in 2000, at that time, the airport was not really an issue. The Iliana Expressway was not an issue at all. The bike trail was just kind of a dream that we had. And now all of those things have come to a head in 2013 here, and we feel that the updating this land use plan, creating critical planning areas, and there's a map that went along with our recommendation, our verbal recommendation that indicates where these critical planning areas are. And just basically our best defense is to have proper and quality planning, and that would help, like I said, maintain our quality of life, maintain the way that we want our township to grow in the future. So we're recommending basically just a neutral stance, not a yes, not a no, but basically we want to be involved in the planning process and to our comprehensive plan, which in the past has worked with the county on zoning issues. I've been with the planning commission since 1997, and it's worked on a number of occasions that we've had the comprehensive plan used, and it was adopted by the county. They used that in some of the decisions that we had to come up with, and it went into our favor because we had it documented in a comprehensive plan. If we don't have that plan, then I don't think we have a leg to stand on. So I don't think basically that's my report.
Hey, Mike, I just got another question too. Would it be advantageous for the Washington Township Planning Commission to take a stance on the airport or the Iliana to say the township supports it or they don't support it on both of those projects? I mean, would that be advantageous to the planning process?
I don't think so, no, because if we say yes, there's going to be a lot of, there's a lot of people against it. If we say no, then they're not gonna get invited to the party. You can't say no to the invitation and expect to go to the party. I think that we have to
say, no, we're against it, we're not gonna be involved in the planning process, and that is really more important than saying yes or no, I feel.
Okay, so the planning commission won't come out with your recommendation is not to come out with a yes or no?
Correct.
On
That's correct.
either the airport or the Iliana Expressway?
Right, yes, the
Okay.
airport, we made that recommendation about a year ago. I looked at our
Yeah,
record
yeah.
in February of last year.
Yeah.
And then we're taking the same stance with the Iliana Expressway.
Okay, all right, thanks. Any questions for Mike? Thanks, Mike.
Last week, or last month, Mike asked for some funds or to proceed with a new map. Are you guys working on that then? Has that gone forward, or?
No, do you have a copy of the map, Ted?
Copy of it?
Yeah. I think what we talked about, well, I know what we talked about was, I already produced the map in color. What the cost is the printing. If we could print it here, then there is really no cost.
Yeah.
I mean, our time is our time, and the planning commission is a volunteer committee anyway, so I don't want to charge for our time, so it's the printing cost, the printing that is the cost. If we decided like we did back in, before in '99, when we sent out surveys to landowners about, the airport issues, there was bailing involved, of course, and at that time we asked for a budget, and we did receive a budget at that time, but I don't know
It is updated.
currently if we need that.
You just need to
Yeah, I
print
think
it.
we, contingency.
You don't currently need it now, is what you're saying?
As of today, not unless we, when we had this done before, we had Chuck Eckenstaller, who was a city planner that was employed part-time at the village. He kind of spent some of his time at the village, some of his time with us. He charged for his services. He kind of got us going in the right direction. Once his tenure with the village was over with, we just kept on going and using his standard of how we should have the comprehensive plan done. If you recall that same standard, we probably don't have to
Okay.
charge anything.
Well, I think the last time we did that map, it really kind of accentuated our position. And with all the issues now that face us, rather than ignore it or try to be antagonistic or whatever, we can clearly illustrate what we're trying to accomplish with the planning recommendation by having the plan clearly showing where these sensitive areas are. I think that was very, very powerful, forceful, and useful.
Yeah.
So, rather than ignore it or push it on the table, we could become very proactive and show people where our intentions are. And if we could create that here and do 500 copies, or I think it'd be well worth the time.
Right, the map that you have now is showing just areas of critical planning. It doesn't further detail what those planning, we don't know what's gonna happen, but we know that something's gonna happen. So we can't really delineate like we did on the 2000 plan, where we wanted to have 1 acre parcels and 10 acre parcels and where agriculture was gonna be. That we knew from a survey, but now it's a whole, it's beyond our region here. It's more countywide, so we have to be involved in that process so that we can define what the growth of this township's gonna be within those critical planning areas.
At the meeting, though, I thought we discussed you redrawing, so you did.
Right, I have no idea what that would cost. And I did an
Okay.
overlay map, and
Okay.
it didn't cost anything.
Okay, I thought. Okay.
All right, any other questions for Mike? No? Okay, we can move on to the supervisor's report. I put some paper in front of you. There's a couple things here. One's the South Suburban Airport update, January 2013, and the other one's the Iliana Corridor Study Update, January 2013. At the county, I'm actually chairman of the Legislative and Policy Committee. And the first things on the first meeting that we held is I put the airport on there and the Iliana Corridor and asked for the update on where they're actually at, and as from the county's perspective, the county contacted the state, so they accumulated all of the up-to-date information. You're welcome to read through it. I'm just going to kind of give you a very short analysis of it. Basically, the South Suburban Airport goes back when it was actively started prior to the Clinton administration. When Clinton was in office, he actually put it on the back burner, took it off the FAA agenda. What happened was when Governor Ryan was in, he actually put it back on with the help of George Bush, President Bush at that time. What everybody feels is going to happen right now is Rahm Emanuel has got the approval for the west entrance on the O'Hare Airport. Mayor Emanuel has come right out and said he does not want the Peatone Airport, South Suburban Airport. Probably what you're going to see is the Obama administration take it back off again. So basically, this could be the death knell for the South Suburban Airport. We made a recommendation at the county now to not spend any more money on planning for it, not to spend any more money on legislation for it. This is out of our control. This would be federal or state, and at this point in time, I've had some recent discussions with a state senator, with 2 representatives, and possibly establish a wind farm or something along them lines. There's a lot of homeowners out there. There's a lot of property owners out there that are still looking to sell their property. I think that the deal should be actually completed. If it's a hardship or whatever, they should be purchased, and then the state can do what it wants to do. The only other problem is the state's in financial trouble. Basically, they're trying to get the other $71 million out of the $100 million. They only received $29 million up to date for land acquisition. It also gives you the recent purchases. Back in December 2012, there was an 80-acre parcel purchase and 120-acre partial purchase. But again, with the airport, it doesn't look very promising for the South Suburban Airport. There's other entities outside of Will County. That's where we're running into the problems, such as the Ileana corridor. This is controlled not basically by us or the county. It's controlled by these other forces. CMAP tends to want to plan for the Will County portion. They'd like to actually put all the blueprints in place on what we should actually be someday. And this is what actually transpired with the airport and currently with the Ileana. Now, there's been a recent development with the Ileana Expressway. What happened was the CMAP said that they weren't notified by IDOT about the B3 corridor properly, so there's a possibility that they want to move the corridor back to the north again. So they want to open it back up. I believe one of the mayors to the north is spearheading this as we speak. So again, from the county's perspective, we don't want to spend money on this. We don't want to spend money on the study of it, anything like that. I mean, it's at one point it was costing us money. It's not a good thing right now. And at the same time, I ask that the no build actually be looked at too at the same time, because if this is going to be a long-term fight, there's no reason to actually put everybody through this. And I have to congratulate Mike Stinool on that with the analysis of sometimes it's better not to say yay or nay. And in this case, a lot of these problems are working themselves out right now. So, and again, the state and the federal government will dictate what happens with this. And with forces like CMAP, the Chicago Metropolitan Agency for Planning, to the north, basically, they're one of the driving forces on this. So, and that's where it's currently at right now. So, it's good news for the B3 corridor as far as those that don't want it down there, but it's bad news for those that live to the north again. And again, I believe it goes through Mr. Meyer's farm there, so the one to the north. So, yeah. So,
Did you, Mr. Chair, did you receive a phone call today from the Illinois corridor that wants one-on-one with the township?
no, they're supposed to contact the townships.
Yeah, I just got a message on, we called that before.
Okay.
They had some time slots set up or whatever for one-on-one.
For the Ileana corridor?
Yeah, that's why when you said that was done, I was like, okay.
Yeah, there was issues involved with that as far as who was contacted, who wasn't. Maybe the state's going back. I know at the county they had told us that, because they actually sent us, all the board members, the actual correspondence that was sent out by IDOT, so, another problem. On another note, a positive note, recently there was a article in the paper, one of the area township supervisors put it in, and basically it was the State of the Union of their township. Actually, I talked to Elizabeth a little today, I talked to Teresa, and, I thought, well, it'd probably be a good thing for us to do the same thing. It's January, it's the beginning of a new year. And basically, I just made a laundry list of what we actually do. It's kind of interesting. What I'm just going to do, I'm just going to go through them real quickly. And this only pertains to the town account, the central portion of the township. This does not pertain to the highway commissioner. He has a specific set of duties, and the assessor has a specific set of duties too. But the office of Washington Township, we provide senior citizen programs. We have senior informational breakfasts. We have exercise programs. We have senior holiday programs, senior welfare checks, senior bus trips, coordination with the village of Beecher and Will County for senior safety. We do feed our own programs, dial right services, ID services, disability placard services, notary services, voter services. We're an early voting center. We're a 24-hour recycling center, textile, shoes, electronics, books, papers, glass, cardboard, and plastic. We're a satellite office for the Will County State's Attorney. We're a future satellite office for the Will County Recorder of Deeds. And we have the capability of in-house production of newsletters, banners, and publications. We have coordination between the Social Security, federal, and state offices, in which we provide a service for faxing, copying, and scanning documents for residents. We also coordinate with the medical offices to provide flu shots, and we also have the Washington Township Planning Commission. Now, that's only a partial list. Under the Office of General Assistance, we do disbursement of general assistance as mandated by law. We do the research and verification of financial information provided by applicants. We institute a debit card system to expedite utility reconnect issues. We do welfare checks coordinated with the Village of Beecher. We negotiate with landlords on behalf of residents, negotiate with utility companies, provide emergency assistance based on financial need, research verification of financial information provided by applicants. We do welfare checks coordinated with the Village of Beecher, negotiate again with the landlords on behalf of the residents and the utility companies. We do benefit assistance programs with seniors and food baskets for the needy. We have the coordination with local church pantries, Alicia House and Rich Township. We also do Washington Township Food Pantry. We have the medical closet in coordination with Medicare. We have assistance for employment through the Will County Workforce Services and local businesses. We provide referrals for employment to staffing companies. We also have, again, a satellite office for Will County State's Attorney. We're also members of the Will County Supervisors Association and the General Assistance Programs, GAP. We also have 2 Salvation Army Service Extension Managers here. We participate in a record-keeping program for the Salvation Army with their new system. We have the Toys for Tots program, Angel Tree program, provide resources for financial counseling, work with local law enforcement authorities with identification, reporting suspected cases of abuse. We have a working relationship with the Village of Beecher to assist in water bills. We also have the LIHEAP service here once a month at the Township. We have ID services relevant to employment. We have distribution of informational newsletter. We also have emergency heating and cooling center. We're 24-hour a day, 7-day-a-week emergency housing assistance. We provide job access for diverse community through Dial Right program, and we provide senior bus trips. So it was kind of interesting to actually put it all together. I know Joe and I had talked this a couple times or whatever. And again, actually we did this. We thought of more stuff we could actually put on here. So I think we have a very active township here now, and I think it's a very positive thing. So. Other than that, on the supervisor's report, I myself tomorrow I'm going to go down. There's some at the state of Illinois. They're going to swear in the new senators and representatives. There's a massive turnover down there right now. Actually, I just got some copies of some legislation today regarding the pension reform. That's a big mess. It's going to take some time to actually figure that one out or whatever. The people that ran for these offices and are in there now, I mean, they got their work cut out for them. So basically, they're going to take over a bankrupt state in that sense, and they got a big job ahead of them. But again, the nice thing about townships, though, is actually we run on a balanced budget. We don't spend more than we take in, so that's a very positive thing. So, any questions? Okay, we can move on to the trustees' report. Any trustees would like to report on anything?
I'd just
Okay.
like to say Teresa and myself attended a really nice Christmas luncheon. She's a volunteer for the meals, and we had to bring $10 in food. And I think Teresa brought back a bus full of food that was donated that day. And it was really a nice get-together and gathering that she had, and said that she would do it again next year, but they brought back a whole, yeah, bus full of food. So, not that we ever have enough, but that was, and it was a ladies' luncheon, I should say. So, it was kind of a nice little afternoon, but lots of food brought back. That's all I have.
Okay, any other trustees? Okay, transportation report?
We had, did everybody receive their copy? There's two reports here. There's the municipal van pool program, which includes the 3 vehicles, and then the paratransit is the last section. We had 497 rides this month, and it seems to be going well. And I think, Teresa, you counted up Beecher. We were looking at how many rides? It was over 100. And yeah. So we are working on, billing and keeping track of riders, and Teresa's moving along. That's all I have. Any
Okay.
questions?
Okay, next item of business, we have the Foundation for a Green Community report. Ted?
Yeah, we did not meet last month, we're gonna meet later in this month. I think that one of our commitments is the recycling center, and we all leave tonight, take a look out there and you can see why we need to have a bigger and better recycling center. It's very, very successful, but it's also stuffed to the gills. And I think if we could create a better environment, more friendly, more capacity for storage, and at minimal cost, I think it would help the program. In addition to, I know the TV and electronic site recycling, as Jerry mentioned, is overflowed onto the highways, which costs us money because we gotta pick it up. If we can encourage people to use our facility here, again, it's better for the whole community. So, we wanna work on that. We're also wanna, of course, push forward on the bike trail, not a bike trail, what do they call it? Multi-use, yeah. That's, one of our keys this year. We would like to make some headway on that. So we're gonna publish, when we get, I don't know where Mike is tonight, but, maybe the last week of the month, we're gonna meet another meeting.
January 16th at 6 o'clock
Is that what
here.
it is? Oh, we already got it scheduled, okay. So
Because they're
January
set
16th.
now for
We're gonna meet here, right?
the 3rd Wednesday of every month at 6
Okay,
o'clock.
Right.
And Ted, we're also looking for additional members or volunteers.
Yeah.
True.
To join us, yeah.
We'd like to spread the word to the community, to get it out to the people that are sitting out in our audience. Okay.
Any questions? Community building report, is there anything to report on? Okay, Feed Our Own report.
Nothing was turned in, I know it's still going very well.
Okay,
I think we had one new person in the last month, but I don't know.
okay. Next item, general assistance report.
Just to let you know, I was in contact with Marta from Will County, and she's gonna give us another day.
Oh, okay.
For, the second.
Oh, good.
So we'll have another one coming, so it'll give us 5 instead of 4.
Plus, we have $500 coming too.
Yes, $500.
We gotta
Use on
spend it
water.
or lose it, so,
And she said that's for 3 years, so each year we get $500.
okay,
But we can't use it on the same thing.
okay.
Um,
Back to general assistance, so. Sorry.
We give away holiday food baskets. We give away 10 for families here in town. Want to thank everybody for participating in the Angel Tree program. We help fund families, so thank you for that. Toys for Tots was great. 15 families, and there was 32 toys, 32 children. They each got 2 toys, and then they considered a stocking stuffer, which is just a smaller toy. So that program was over great. And that was the first year we did that.
Any questions? Elizabeth, did they want their name mentioned, who donated the turkey, or no?
We did, well, yeah, I can, it was the bank,
Okay,
the First National Grant Card, First National Grant.
how about that turkey, like in the freezer now, all the turkey?
Oh, yeah, there was a gentleman who, and Sue said he works for the company, how did it?
No, his daughter, I believe it is, works for the company.
Yeah, they donated, he had like 2,000 pounds of turkey
Yeah.
products that he needed to, you know,
Okay.
dispose of. So he came here, and obviously we have a small freezer, so I took what we could, probably 5 boxes, but I contacted the other local food pantries, contacted Alicia's house, and they were gonna work it out where he could bring the turkey products to them as well. So it was ground turkey, turkey wings, and turkey patties. It was really good. And he's a resident.
Okay. All right, thanks. Okay, we can move on to old business consideration approval of intergovernmental agreement between the County of Will, Illinois, and Washington Township for participation in Will County Mobility Management Project. You want to give a brief overview on that? Or you want me to do it?
Basically, this is, it's been on your agenda.
Yeah.
That you finally have in front of you, and it's just the agreements to continue this now through Will County, so that we can start receiving nutrient and JARC monies besides the area and aging money. And that will, that money will, Teresa has to invoice me, and then I invoice RTA, and we'll be prorating that back to June. For
Back to
people
when?
that, pardon me?
Back to when?
To June of
Is this-
2012.
Yeah.
For people that go to jobs and seniors that are disabled and low-income riders.
Now this, the simple way to think about it, this covers everybody else that's not a senior that rides the bus.
That's not covered under area on aging.
That's not covered by area.
Correct,
And this is 50 cents on the dollar.
yes,
Okay, so that means if we spend $1,000, they're gonna give us $500 back.
correct.
Okay.
And that's going to cover these, we have disabled kids, we have a few of them that go to workshops, go to school, go to jobs. And it's gonna cover their rides, and there's, as well, there's seniors that are disabled or considered low income that could also fit into that category.
And the public, if they're commuting to, if we're commuting the public to work, they would be included under JARC also.
Correct. Mhm.
So if we take someone to the train.
So these two agreements are Washington Township participating as a sponsor and also as a service provider.
Okay. Now, when I had talked to the state's attorney and I had talked to the, Nick about it, yourself about it, and I explained too in, this upcoming April, the majority of the board, or even the entire board, will be new, okay? At that point in time, though, there's a clause in here, if they decide not to continue transportation, that there's a termination clause. So either party can terminate, so that the county can say, okay, you know, we'll terminate, or the township will have the ability to terminate. And they can say, okay, we don't want to deal with the transportation,
Correct.
that type of thing, so, so that's in there, so.
Yes. And the state's attorney went over this agreement. Their verbiage is in there. We ran it through the state's attorney first before we presented it.
So this is an agreement, if I'm a citizen of Washington Township, not a senior or somebody in the if I'm a regular citizen, I can use this to service. and we
We've
can-
always been open to the public.
But now,
Will be reimbursed for.
we're gonna be reimbursed at 50 cents, 50%, 50 cents of, I mean, how does that reimbursement work?
It's 50 cents. For every dollar you spend, you get 50 cents back.
So that includes wages, gas,
The same
Everything,
things that
all
we
expenses.
go
Any and
to
all
area
expenses.
This
Office
is the
expenses.
RTA grant that we had in the past.
Yeah.
We've ran out, and now the county picked up the big grant because they were able to get way more money.
Sure.
and we were not getting that much back because we were falling majority under area on aging. So even if a 17-year-old this summer wanted to go to work at McDonald's and needed a ride, they would fall under JARC. It's reverse commute funding.
This is the $892,000 that I kept putting in the newsletter, that the county was awarded.
But that's only 50% of the, only
50%.
Where's the other 50 coming from?
Participating townships and other grants.
Because they might be on the bus with the area on aging person.
Right.
Correct.
So,
Same money, or
yeah.
Yeah.
same budget.
right.
It's RTA will give us 50%, and then the local share from the township is 50%.
So-
Each township.
Right, so your feeling is that as this plays out down the road, the 50% we get will be, the 50% we need to come up with will be created by other agents, other.
It's no different than how we've been doing it RTA up till now. Remember the grants we
Right.
wrote? We got the free computers, 80/20. It's the same thing that we had the JARC, or we had the New Freedom.
Correct. So the people that were going to jobs, we were getting.
Yeah,
reimbursed for.
so it really hasn't changed. The only thing is now it's included countywide reimbursement. Is the only difference now. It was only
It's extra
Washington.
funding.
And it's a bigger number, right? We're dealing with 800,000
Yeah.
versus 30,000, or whatever the case may be.
Yeah. We use, what we spent, 30,000 of that already in the past, of the RTA? Yeah, what was it?
I'm
Remember?
not really sure.
Yes.
And this is an annual agreement, or
So the money runs,
This is for 2 years,
2 years?
yes.
And then the
It runs
county,
out May of 14.
and then the county will reapply again if there is JARC money left at New Freedom.
Actually, I misspoke, the contract is set up till May of 14, but if we do not spend the funds at that point, they will let us spend all of it.
Like they did in the past.
Correct.
You know how we ran, we had extra money, so we ran like a year and a half or 2 years behind on spending the money.
And just so I get my head around all this, so the RTA then grants are no longer, that avenue is no longer,
We're
This-
done with just Washington Township.
so this is a county-wide?
This is a countywide.
Correct.
I shouldn't really say countywide.
it's Eastern Will County.
Yeah, it's just Eastern.
But if we can't spend the money fast enough, then they will spend it in other parts of the county. I think you have that freedom.
Yes,
And then there's other perks that come along with this too. I think you're gonna do our brochures now.
yes.
There's,
We're working with the GIS and mapping department at the county, and developing something on a website specifically for this transportation, the Will County Mobility Management Project. And it's gonna, they're working on getting people, making it very user-friendly for, seniors to get from point A to point B, so that they learn how to use public transportation. Another big thing RTA is pushing is, they have trainers come out and train people how to, say, go from here and pick up a bus, a fixed route, to get to their destination. So that the funding for the dial ride people stretches. Because in other areas in Will County, they're finding out they have a problem, they're running their disabled people side by side with their fixed route buses, and they're trying to encourage the other people in the other areas to teach their disabled people to ride fixed route, since they have access to it, which would free up more money for our area.
Which is a free service. They'll come out as long as you need them and go hand in hand with you until you are comfortable making your trip.
and again, the next board won't be bound
Correct.
to this if they decide not to.
Well, they have to do 90, they got 90 days.
90 days,
right?
they can terminate, so.
They can't just do it overnight, they have to give notice. And PACE is working, obviously, with Will County, they're all aboard.
Correct.
So this isn't a county, Will County that knows nothing about transit. PACE is there, RTA's there, everybody's sitting in on the meetings, all the different townships, and so it's pretty well organized.
And I'm getting ready to just to get everybody's input. It's usually around a 35-person panel, and they put input into what the needs are out there.
The steering committee. We need a motion to approve.
Is this the document, this is the final document?
No, it'll be, the state's attorney will produce the final document,
The one is a draft.
the draft.
This isn't a draft.
And the one is final, but he said the state's attorney was still gonna review them. Nick did.
Does it say draft across the top?
Yeah, and the other one it
This
does.
one does.
So we can't approve a draft, can we?
I wouldn't.
You could do a contingent upon the, state's attorney. Changes.
Yeah, because it says insurance and it's Tormer with a question mark.
Well, they weren't sure if it was Torma with us.
I would ask for a copy.
Yeah.
And along with those two, there's going to be an exhibit C, which is the TSA agreement with RTA for the whole project.
Do you sign on behalf of the county? Do you sign this on behalf of the county?
Do I sign?
Yeah, because it
No.
says county will.
No,
Very
the
well.
county executive is the only one.
Yeah.
that
It
can sign.
doesn't say.
Yeah.
Yeah, very well.
How will we term that, predicated upon the state's attorney's review?
I can-
Pending
Pending.
I
the final.
think the biggest thing, Joe, if you have questions, was the Torma area. They were asking me how that worked, and I explained to them because Washington Township is the service provider. Torma is the insurance that covers the vehicles.
Well, what would it take to have these two agreements dated for the next meeting, February 4th or 5th, and just have them ready so that they're done? And then we just sign them and move on
Not
instead of,
draft.
and not approve a draft contingent on something? Would that be just as easy to do?
I like that idea. I like to read them, you know. And you say by changing the draft, you can change the dates and,
It'll all be ready to go.
Yeah,
It'll
yeah.
have the next month's dates on it, and we just, Bob can sign it, and Flurry pre-signs it or not, it'd be great.
2012.
But we are gonna enter into agreement, though, it sounds like, so.
Because it says on this one,
Yeah.
XX day of 2012,
Yeah,
you know, so
yeah.
there's just a few issues.
motion to table or?
No, you just,
No, no,
Just
but I
don't take any
think we
action
got a
on it.
consensus tonight.
Yeah,
2012 will be on it though, because it's.
We're going
like I
back to
said,
June.
Yeah, we
it goes
wanna
back So I can bill from June
Yeah.
1st on.
So that just sets the money back another month then.
Correct.
So.
I have to have a signed agreement before I can bill RTA.
it's
Yeah.
still retroactive though? You can-
Yes.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. So, okay,
let's do that.
all right. We can move on to new business consideration approval of planning, commission, recommendation. I think we can, approve that tonight. Yeah.
Planning?
Yeah, he did the recommendations on that.
Yeah.
I'll make a motion to approve the, Washington Township Planning Commission recommendations. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Any discussion? No discussion? Roll call?
Bob,
Yes.
Ted,
Yeah.
Elmer,
Yes.
Pat,
Yes.
Consideration approval of the Beecher Youth Commission sponsorship request. I believe that last time it was $1,000. And I believe we put $1,000 in the budget again. Well, actually, we put 1,500 in, but I think we gave them 1,000 in case there was something else that came up.
yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah.
So we could do the 1,000, and if,
It was 1,000?
Yeah,
But we put more than that in the budget,
yeah,
in case there was,
something else.
something else that came up.
They submitted a request and all that
Yeah,
last week?
Last month,
Last meeting.
last month. Mhm.
Is there a motion?
Yes, I would move we approve the $1,000 sponsorship for the Beecher Youth Commission.
Is there a second? Elmer seconded, any discussion? If not, roll call.
Ted?
Yes.
Elmer? Bob?
Yes.
Pat?
Yes.
Okay, another item up on new business I'd like to bring up tonight is, we're trying to figure out the recording equipment here for the sound. I talked to Bob Barber at the Village of Beecher, I talked to the chief also. They went back and talked to the original installation company, and the speakers that we have here are for ambiance. That means that basically there is no real connection between them and the recording equipment. They suggest that we put in microphones on the tables to go all the way around, which wasn't a problem. We actually looked at it and it was, I thought, like $800 or something. Well, the village needs a lot more than that because they have the side microphones, that kind of stuff. I think it jumped up to like $2,800 right now. And that's not the camera, that's only the visual, or the audio part of it. So that they're having the same problem that we have when they record the meetings. It's very difficult for people to hear. They have to turn their television sets all the way up on 100 or whatever to actually hear what's going on. So Elizabeth's been in communication with them. We're working with them right now. Hopefully we'll have some kind of resolution in the course of the month now that's coming up. So it's something I think we're going to have to look into. I'm sure we can make it, we'll have to provide partial investment in it. The only thing with the village, if they need 80% of it or 60% more than we do or whatever, I know they're very good working with us. I'm sure they'll work out the detail on that. So unless anybody else has another suggestion on how to correct this. So, no? Okay. Other than that, I have a couple employee issues we need to go in executive session for. Do we have a motion to go in executive session?
I motion to go into executive.
All right, we'll take a 5-minute break before we go.
Can we get a vote on this? Was there a second?
Second.
We're gonna take a 5-minute.
Roll call.
Yeah. Pat?
Yes.
Ted?
Yep.
Elmer? Bob?
Yes.